After 2 years with no state budget at all, North Carolina finally passed one this week and handed its newest teachers a $7,000 raise.
Plus, a state where an old criminal record will now clear itself, no lawyer required. From amendment, this is the 10th.
Tick, 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 tock, lights on, this is our sound. 10 voices rising, shaking the ground. From the street to the steps where the deals go down. Welcome to the 10th now. The 10th, hey! Turn it up right now. The 10th, yeah! We don't back down. Truth in the beat, fire in the sound. This is the 10th.
Picture a man in Missouri, 40-some years old, sitting at his kitchen table, a job application open on the laptop in front of him.
Okay.
And there's a box on that form. Have you ever been convicted of a crime? And every single time for more than a decade, he's had to check yes. One nonviolent felony from his 20s. He served his time, never repeated it.
But the box doesn't know that.
The box doesn't care. That one checkbox has ended interviews before they started, cost him apartments, followed him into every new town he's tried to start over in. And this week, the state of Missouri decided that box, for people like him, is eventually going to clear itself. No lawyer, no petition, no fee. We are going to come back to that kitchen table. We are. And it tells you what kind of week this was. Mid-July, most state houses are empty for the summer. But the desks that were busy on the things people actually feel. A paycheck, a record, an electric bill. This is your briefing for Sunday, July 12th. What state legislatures and Congress actually did this week from amendment. I'm here with the hosts of the 10th. And the single biggest thing any state did this week, after 2 years, one of them finally passed a budget.
North Carolina. Senate Bill 257, the 2026 Appropriations Act. Governor Josh Stein signed it into law on Monday, July 7th.
And the headline here isn't really one program, it's the calendar.
Exactly. North Carolina had gone more than 2 years without a full state budget, the only state in the entire country to run a whole fiscal year without one. This week, that ended.
How does a state go 2 years with no budget?
Impasse. A divided government that couldn't close the deal. And what broke it is worth noting. This cleared with real bipartisan margins. The final conference vote on July 2nd, the Senate, 35-10. The House, 86-21. A Democratic governor signing a budget written by a Republican-led legislature. Both sides took the deal.
So what's actually in $34.4 billion?
Start with teachers. Pay goes up an average of 8%. And the biggest raise is at the bottom of the scale. A beginning teacher's state salary goes from $41,000 to $48,000. That's about a 17% bump, aimed squarely at the problem of losing new teachers in their first couple of years. Start them higher so they don't leave. Right. Principals get 3%, support staff get one-time bonuses. Then, $700 million more for Hurricane Helene recovery in western North Carolina. That's the storm that tore through the mountains, and it's a big reason this budget's slow arrival was felt as more than an accounting fight. And more than $1 billion to fully fund the state's Medicaid rebase, the unglamorous work of keeping the program funded as costs climb.
A budget's the biggest single thing a state does.
It is. And the next story is one of the smallest units of government there is, one person's record. And it's the one we slow down for.
Back to that kitchen table.
That's the one. Senate Bill 1421, Missouri's Clean Slate law. Sponsored by Senator Nick Schroer, signed by Governor Mike Kehoe on Thursday, July 9th. And to understand why it matters, you have to understand the trap it springs people from.
Which is what, exactly? Expungement already exists, doesn't it?
It does, but in most states, it's not automatic. If you have an old conviction, you have to know the law lets you clear it. Then you have to hire a lawyer or navigate the court paperwork yourself and pay for it.
So the people who most need a clean record
are the people least likely to get through the process. Someone working 2 jobs, no lawyer on retainer. The record just sits there, shows up on every background check, years after the sentence is done. Employers know the pattern. So do the people living it. A record you can't clear becomes a kind of life sentence to the checkbox.
And Missouri flips the default.
It flips the default. Eligible misdemeanors clear automatically 1 year after the case closes. Eligible nonviolent felonies clear after 3 years. No petition, no lawyer, no fee. The Missouri State Highway Patrol runs the records match and does it for you.
Automatically. And the limits?
Real ones. Violent crimes and offenses against children are excluded entirely, and a person is capped. 3 misdemeanors, 2 felonies. This is not a blanket wipe. And it wasn't a partisan sprint either. It took 5 years of advocacy, backed by business groups who wanted the workers, before it passed and a Republican governor signed it.
So go back to the man at the table. Go back to him. 3 years after his case closed, the record clears on its own. Nobody sends him a bill. The next time he opens a job application, the box is honest to check, and it doesn't end the conversation before it starts. That's the whole idea. Not forgiveness handed down from on high, just a door that stops locking behind people who already paid.
Let's talk about a different kind of affordability. New Jersey. A very literal one, your electric bill. On July 7th, Governor Mikey Sherrill signed a package of energy bills aimed at a cost that's quietly showing up on ordinary households: the electricity that AI data centers pull off the grid. Data centers, the warehouses full of servers.
Enormous power draws. And 2 bills here matter. Assembly Bill 8796 creates a data center tariff, basically a separate rate class. So the huge demand from new data centers gets paid for by the data centers, instead of smoothed onto every household's bill. And it nudges them toward clean and community-owned power.
So the company that strains the grid pays for the grid. That's the idea. And then Assembly Bill 2757, a wonky one, requires the state's transmission owners to join PJM Interconnection, the regional grid operator. New Jersey estimates that move alone at about $60 million a year in savings for ratepayers. The through line being, as these data centers multiply, somebody's deciding who pays for the grid they lean on. And New Jersey just put that cost on the companies, not the customers. Watch for other states to face the same question.
Illinois had a busy Friday.
34 bills at once. Governor J.B. Pritzker signed the whole stack on July 10th. 2 are worth pulling out because they're both about who the system actually reaches.
Start with the first.
House Bill 4339, the Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. Young Voter Empowerment Law. It requires Illinois high schools to give students the chance to register to vote before they leave. Civics as a default setting, not an extracurricular.
Register them where they already are.
Right. And the second, House Bill 4659, lets survivors of domestic abuse fight back against coerced debt. That's a loan an abuser took out in a partner's name or forced them to sign for. Now a survivor gets a defense in court instead of just a wrecked credit report they never chose. 2 very different bills. One state, one day. Both about handing someone a tool the system had been quietly withholding.
One from Washington, and this week, it's a look at the week ahead.
Congress is mostly in a committee posture right now, but 3 bills up for markup this week touch everyday life. And all 3 are the kind of quiet, bipartisan item that basically never makes the cable chyron.
Give me the 3.
Monday, the House Rules Committee takes up the Sunshine Protection Act, House Resolution 139. The last step before a bill making daylight saving time permanent reaches the House floor. It would end the twice-a-year clock change and let states that don't want daylight time stay on standard time all year.
The clock change bill. People have been trying to kill that switch for years.
They have. Wednesday, the Senate Commerce Committee takes up Senate Bill 4429, a bipartisan bill to bar internet-connected cars built or controlled by China or Russia from American roads. The concern being that the cameras, microphones, and GPS packed into a modern car can quietly ship where you drive overseas. And the third, also Wednesday, House Resolution 8658 in the House Natural Resources Committee. It fixes a paperwork trap in Native health coverage. Right now, if an American Indian or Alaska Native patient gets emergency care outside an Indian Health Service facility, someone has 72 hours to notify IHS, or the bill can be denied. This stretches that window to 15 days, so a form nobody could file from a hospital bed doesn't wipe out a patient's coverage.
A few numbers to land with from this week.
2 years. How long North Carolina went with no full budget. The only state to run a whole fiscal year without one until Monday. $41,000 to $48,000, a beginning North Carolina teacher salary, before and after. 1 year and 3 years. How long after a case closes that eligible Missouri misdemeanors, then nonviolent felonies,
now clear on their own. And $60 million a year, New Jersey's estimated ratepayer savings from ordering its grid operators to join the regional market.
One quick read on where the public is pushing this week.
From ResistBot's top campaigns, the loudest is a cyclospora outbreak. The CDC has now confirmed 843 cases across 18 states since May, with more under review. And the top petition ties it to the agency's parasitic disease division being dissolved last year. Right behind it, demands for public hearings and witness protection in the ICE killing of Lorenzo Araujo in Texas, and a steady drumbeat on grocery and energy costs.
Public health and affordability.
The same two nerves this week's State House action kept touching, which brings us back to that kitchen table in Missouri.
The man in the checkbox.
3 years after his case closes, the record clears itself. No notice, no invoice, no lawyer. And the next time he opens a job application, the box is finally honest to check. One long-standing yes turned into an honest no, and the conversation gets to keep going. That's what a quiet legislative week looks like from the inside. Not the loudest fight, just a few doors that stop locking behind people.
Every bill we mentioned today has a plain English breakdown, the full text, the sponsor, the vote, and the status waiting for you. Search by state or federal, ask a question about any law, and generate a letter to your representatives in a couple of clicks.
For the full text, status, and plain English breakdown of any bill we mentioned today, head to amendment.app. If this was useful, follow the show wherever you're listening, and leave us a review. It genuinely helps people find it.
Thanks for listening to The 10th. We'll see you next Sunday.
If they lock the gate, we move as one. If they change the rules, we don't run. No more borrowed truth, no more fake grace. We raise our flags in a different place. Today